Hey everyone, Ken and Stella here. We are making dog treats, and I'm gonna have Ken make all of them pretty much. I'm just gonna watch him, but.
So, more specifically, we're making peanut butter oat balls, which are non-baked dog treats. Your ingredients are half a cup of milk. We were ill prepared. We don't have milk. We have half and half.
Dogs don't care. We
need 3 cups of quick oats. And we also need a cup of peanut butter.
Don't.
So the first step here is to grab your half cup of milk.
Grab it.
Yeah. I'm getting it.
And over here we got our half cup. He's not prepared either.
We gotta pour the milk in.
Pouring the milk in.
Milk is in the bowl.
Bowl is in the milk. No, it's not.
So next, we need a cup of peanut butter.
Okay, putting the 1 cup of peanut butter in there. Don't be aggressive.
We're gonna put the peanut butter in the bowl.
In the bowl.
The peanut butter is going in the bowl.
In the bowl.
Bowl.
Peanut butter.
In the bowl.
Bowl. Today. I got dogs to train.
Peanut butter is in the bowl. We're gonna move the peanut butter.
Gonna move the peanut butter.
We're gonna grab the oats.
Oat.
We need 3 cups of oats.
Uno.
Now German. Eins.
Didn't take German. Didn't take Spanish either, so I don't know why I did that.
Zwei. We have our ingredients in the bowl.
In the bowl.
So now, the next step is to stir vigorously. Are you gonna eat that?
Nope, putting it in the bowl.
So, I'm gonna stir vigorously with my hands.
Vigorously with his hands. We are not afraid to get dirty here at Project to Heal.
See this? This is stirring vigorously.
Very aggressive.
Someone at Gordon Ramsay, ask him what he thinks.
Oh, I'm calling him. Gordon!
Something's telling me I probably should not have used my hands. But we're in the thick of it now. So
You're in it.
yeah, certainly shouldn't have used the hands. But that's all right, people.
While he's doing that, we have calendars for sale on our website. And you should get you one right before Christmas. And you can give it out to a gift or something. I'll take one. Give you my address. Call me. You want one? They can call you too.
My dog's on the calendar. All right, so we're gonna move this with my completely clean hands. After you have your ingredients mixed.
Time to get dirty.
I already am.
Time for me to get dirty then.
So you wanna take them and you wanna roll them into balls. And then slap them on your baking sheet. Even though this isn't baking, they just go in the fridge. That's exactly right.
Opa! Is that not what I'm supposed to be saying?
I don't like dog treats.
Okay, all right. Bingo! No? Okay, cool. Guess I'll just shut up now.
Dog treats. All right, ready, go.
Oh, look at that ball right there, boy.
Yeah, on top of the other one?
It was in the way. Are you testing this today?
No. I believe my wonderful dog Abby will be giving these a try.
Oh, okay, fine.
She's wonderful when she wants to be. Other than that, she's a dog.
That was in the calendar?
That's right, she is in the calendar.
She's a good poser?
She's not a poser.
I mean to pose in pictures, not a poser.
You're a poser.
All right, well.
And now that you're done with your totally clean hands.
Totally clean. After this process of rolling the balls, refrigerate for at least 1 hour.
And they will last in the refrigerator for 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
And you can freeze them for up to 4 months.
4 months. And this would be a high value treat, just saying, for the ones that are training.
Oh, hold on, one of my balls came apart.
That's a you problem.
What's wrong with that? Immature.
All right.
Chase him in the coop! Chase him in his coop! Chase him in the coop! Come on, man!
Alright, so we knew Charlie had to swap out some chickens with some guy Greg in town. He's bringing him some roosters and stuff, so he was down in the chicken coop while we're scrubbing the kennels down here, and I get this text from Charlie, and it, word for word, reads, "Lock in chicken coop. Please come help." So he locked himself in. I had to go down there and let him out. It was quite the sight. It really was.
So Charlie is taking these chickens, and I think he's got roosters in the other ones, and he's swapping them for better hens. We need red hens. I guess those eggs are better, and we feed the dogs eggs sometimes, so he needs better eggs. So that's what's happening today at Project to Heal.
We only keep egg-laying chickens. Those guys lay very small, bluish to green eggs. Here we got 2 roosters and a little rooster heading in the front, growing up. And then we have 2 what you call barnyard chickens, which, you know, when the girls skip Rudy and want to go lay on a nest, they do. Not even 3 months old. He's gigantic. I think he's going to be the size of an ape when he's done growing, but I'm not going to know. Say goodbye, guys.
You try and catch one and you feel like you ran a marathon afterwards. You have to like chase them everywhere. It's ridiculous. I've been pecked a couple times collecting eggs, so that's not fun.
That's the one that chases you.
Thank God. Your name.
Anybody want to come with me? couple of years back, the military reported 22 veterans a day take their own lives. And to me and to my wife, that's just not acceptable. 22 lives lost a day, especially when we just learned only a few years earlier through a research study done by Purdue University and Kaiser Permanente Health Services that a service dog can reduce cortisol levels, hypervigilance, night tremors, and outbursts of anger.
My name is Brian McCready, and I got injured in 2003. I fractured T8 through T12 in the middle of my spine, and I was recovering from that, and then, I was a medic in the Army in Iraq, so I had some other issues like with PTSD that it was getting hard to address and deal with those as well. It was a combination of I had this physical injury that was still, hindering bending over, picking up things. I developed this neurological movement disorder called dystonia, which causes this abnormal posturing, which was causing my spine to curve. There's a whole lot to it, but then of course there was the PTSD piece, and both of them kind of worked on me. If I was feeling better physically, I still sometimes had mental health stuff and vice versa. When I got injured in 2003, I kept thinking I'm just gonna get better. At some point I'm gonna go back to how I was before it all happened. And it wasn't until getting him that I realized no, I was just gonna have a new me. My life with him since has been completely new, and while some of those things are still there and they still bother me from time to time, what Chauncey's done has completely changed my outlook on my engagement with the world and really in my belief in myself. So Chauncey is almost 9. He will be 9 in April. And in May, I will have had him for 7 years. So he, in that time frame, I went back to work. I hadn't worked since I got out of the Army. I went back to work. My marriage has improved. My life has improved. All of those things prior to 2013-ish, before I got him, they didn't seem possible or real. And so he taught me how to engage in the world again, in a new way that was safer and easier for me. I talk to a lot of veterans that ask about getting a service dog and stuff, and I'm not a fan of people who get these highly trained dogs and then still stay stuck on the couch, right? And aren't doing other things. This is part of the tool to re-engage with the world, but there's other work that has to be done too.
Here's the challenge. It takes 3 years for a veteran to receive a service dog. That's a problem. Why is that a problem? Simple. The majority of service dog organizations in the United States do not have a breeding program. Most organizations go to shelters to get dogs to train. Some years back, Paws with a Cause, one of the biggest service dog organizations in the country, did a longitudinal study of the shelter dogs that they brought into their program. They calculated that only 1 out of 8 dogs that they took from a shelter were able to pass and be partnered with a person in need. As I read on, I found that some of the dogs that did make it, the shelter animals that were the 1 out of 8, in a year or so after placement, they started displaying anxiety or aggression. And that is in no way that dog's fault. But to ask a dog in a shelter to become a service dog is asking a lot.
If you want a pet to lay on the couch with you and stay stuck, there's lots of dogs available for adoption. But if you're ready to re-engage with the world, these dogs want to go out, they want to talk to people, they want to be seen, right? That's what they've done for 2 years of training. It would have been a shame if I got a dog like him and then stayed stuck on the couch.
It was that very statistic that made Sandy and I decide, let's find a great Labrador Retriever breeder, let that person mentor us, teach us how to breed them, and then donate them to all these service dog organizations that are using a shelter. This will drastically reduce the time that it takes for a veteran to get a dog. It'll drastically reduce the costs, which are now, depending on who you're talking to, between $25,000 and $35,000 or $30,000 and $40,000. My goal has been for a long time to get to the point where every single puppy that we breed is either kept here to be a future mom or dad, or goes to an organization to help a veteran, a child with special needs, or an adult with disabilities.
Well, in 2 words, I can say my life has changed from despair to hope, in that Maya, instead of me having to go to individuals and ask for help, Maya's there, and she's been trained to be able to help me in all areas of my life. So she helps with the laundry, she opens doors, she closes doors, she takes my shoes and socks off, she takes my coat off, so she's pretty busy during the day. So you can see how she and I become a partner, and all she has to do is hear that something's dropped and she's right Johnny on the spot. I mean, she's figured out a lot of different things in the house to be able to assist me, so it's great. I didn't realize how valuable it would be. I just thought, oh, she'll pick up my pen when I drop my pen, or she'll fetch her leash or do something like that, but it's incredible. She is so bright that it takes me so little to teach her something. Like, for instance, putting her toys away at the end of the day. She picks them up and puts them in a basket. This morning when she stole the socks out of the laundry, I told her, go put those socks back. She picked up those socks and took them back to the laundry. We always tease that we think Maya's 65% human. She's very bright. I'm not sure they understand how important it is for an individual to be able to have a companion like Maya. To them, I'll use myself as an example. I'm in a wheelchair and I pretty much can reach things, but there are a lot of things I can't do without Maya. So if I didn't have Maya, my life would be limited in some of my activities that I'd be able to take part in. I don't think they realize. A lot of people are very accepting, but you also still have people when you walk in a grocery store that kind of veer away, and I think that's just a voice of not understanding how important that dog is to that individual. And they don't pick the dog out, the dog picks you out, and that's really, honest to God, the truth. I don't know. I don't have any idea. It was just a feeling. I mean, for me, for her, it was just a feeling. It was like when I said something, she did it. When I changed commands, she did it. When I left her alone without a leash and told her to stay there, she did it. It was like, okay, we got this. Between the two of us, we've got this.
Yes, Bitsy, you and Maya got this. They represent the true service dog partnership. Welcome to our second annual Pup-a-Thon. You loved it so much, we decided to bring it again this year. We have an even better show for you this year. We'll be streaming live for the next 2 hours. Don't forget to share our footage with all of your friends so they can get in on the action too. With the help of all of you out there, we got this. You'll hear from our trainers, staff, partner service dog organizations. You'll hear more from veterans like Brian on how our puppies are changing and saving lives. We're also relaunching our YouTube channel with tons of new content, training tips, baking tips, fun video blogs. You'll see some of that new content tonight. We're excited about all this new puppy content that we'll be asking for your help to get the word out by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Simply go to our website, project2heal.org, click on the YouTube icon and hit subscribe. While you're there, be sure to check out our Name the Puppy auction. Take a look at those cute puppies waiting just for the perfect name. This is a great chance for you to honor a veteran or a family member in your life by naming a Project to Heal puppy with a purpose. We'll announce the winning names at the end tonight at 7:45. A special thank you, again,
to this year's presenting sponsor, Stonemont Financial. I'd like to recognize two special friends out there, Will and Ella Markwell. They were able to name 4 Project Heal pups. And right here, we have 2 of those pups, Lucky and Rudy. We currently have 3 litters, the one behind me, and as I'm walking into the whelping room, you'll see another 2 litters. These litters are 8 days old and 18 days old. Here we have Jessica with Josie's litter. They're 18 days old. And here on the right, we have Jenna, our chaperone owner, with her dog, Rory. And right here, I have Icy, and right here, I have Pookie. So thanks, Will and Ella, for giving us those names. We really appreciate it and appreciate your creativity. All right, let's get back and see some more puppies. As you can see, that's a lot of puppies and food and training. Here's where you come in, our wonderful and generous supporters. We rely on your generous donations, our volunteers, and our chaperone programs to keep these pups and their mamas happy and healthy. Everyone has a vital role to play in helping get these puppies into the life of a veteran, a child with a special need, or a person with a disability. We're fundraising for the next 2 hours and could really use your help. You'll see the text to donate number at the bottom of the screen throughout the show. You can also go to our website to make a donation. All donations are tax deductible. You can also become a healing partner. Provide a healing paw with your monthly donation and help heal those with physical and emotional challenges, one puppy at a time. Some examples: a monthly donation of $5 provides a vet visit for an entire litter of puppies. $10 a month, or $120 a year, pays the entire cost of feeding a litter from the time the pups are 3 weeks old till they're donated to a partner service dog organization. And with a donation of $25 a month, you provide heartworm, flea and tick prevention for a whole year for one of our girls in the breeding program. Lastly, a donation of $50 a month provides 8 weeks of care and training for an entire litter of pups from birth until the pup goes to its partner service dog organization. The bottom line is this: a donation of any amount helps us provide a puppy to one of our 26 partner organizations across the country. If you can't afford to help this time, that's fine. I'll challenge you to help in other ways, such as volunteering, or maybe becoming a chaperone owner. A chaperone owner receives our pick of the litter female. At 2 years of age, this dog has gone through a myriad of health tests and training to determine if she meets our standards to enter the breeding program. If so, we breed the girl up to 3 times. Throughout this whole process, the dog remains a family pet. This program allows us to donate many more pups to our partners compared to what we would be able to donate if these generous families did not open up their hearts and homes to our outstanding dogs. Now, let's get to our first segment. Where are they now? Last year, we had a pretty awesome Pup-a-Thon. We were able to see a litter actually being born during the live show. On December 4th, just a few days away, these pups will be a year old. Take a look at that handsome family portrait. These guys are actually named from the Godfather movies. 3 pups from this litter went to 3 different partner organizations. Luca went to Good Dog Autism in California. Clemenza, now Bentley, went to Smoky Mountain Service Dog in Tennessee. And Lois went to MK9 Veteran Service Dog Organization in Florida. You may also remember Calder, the hockey dog, and Carson. Let's check out where they are now. Can I breathe?
Calder was born 2018, beginning of November 2018, and he was just one of the ones out of his litter. He was gorgeous. From like the beginning, when he was born, we were like, he looks like his dad. Like, he's just beautiful. I thought he was the cutest puppy there. He had his weird like lanky stage that they all do, but he kept filling out and he looked great. He was always goofy and super strange and sometimes annoying, as puppies are. And we all were like, his name was Andy, so we were like, oh, Andy. And then I kind of stay out of a lot of business things until Charlie comes to me for them. And so I was kind of caught off guard. He's like, yeah, talk to the checkers. Like, we're gonna do sort of like a team dog kind of thing. I was like, sweet, awesome, I like hockey. I'm totally into this.
He was just one of our typical puppies, you know, confident. You know, I remember when the first time we brought them out on the ice, they were maybe 2 months old. And we brought the whole litter, and you know, Calder was one of the ones who kind of ran around more. You know, you could see which dog or which puppy seems the most confident. And so that was one of the reasons why we picked him.
We kind of were like, yep, this is the dog. He was super smart. He was learning the coolest things. He could turn on a light switch when he was like a couple months old, opening doors, like retrieving things. He was so smart, so ready to learn, very loyal, food-motivated, people-friendly. He just loved everybody, and that's exactly what we were looking for for a dog for the checkers.
He was in the locker room. We took shots of him like walking as a baby, walking into like a goalie helmet, walking through like a pair of pants. We have a great picture of him on the logo. We have pictures of him with Chubby. So yeah, he's a hockey dog through and through. As a matter of fact, ESPN had him on the play of the day twice. I think once it was just the play of the day, and it was former player Nick Waugh hitting a puck and Calder going to get it and bring it back. And then the other time was when the checkers were practicing at the Extreme Ice Center, and I was on the Zamboni. I'd never been on a Zamboni, so I asked the guy, hey, can I come? And he said, sure, and bring the dog. And so ESPN grabbed that, and that was like top 10 of the pet plays of the year on ESPN. So he's famous.
Carson was baby number 1, and we were absolutely thrilled about this newborn that we were going to be having. We didn't know if it was a boy or girl, and he was late actually, and on the way to the hospital we get into the car, and it was very early in the morning, and on the radio is playing Wild Thing. My husband and I both looked at each other and went, oh no, this is any indication of what's to come, we're in trouble. It was like 70 degrees on that February 10th, and by that afternoon it was snowing. So it started off with a bang.
My name is Carson Clough. I'm a Charlotte native, and I am 26 years old. Born and raised in Charlotte, and I have always been super close with my family. I got younger brother, younger sister, just all around had family support from day one, and pretty awesome, normal upbringing. So one thing, you know, a lot of people may not know about me is I used to play hockey for the Charlotte Junior Checkers when I was little. It was one of my first sports. Used to play every day, all year round. Used to travel, Greenville, Florida, even up north to Maryland, and played with the Charlotte Junior Checkers probably till I was in 7th grade. But I still got the jerseys, number 77, smallest kid on the ice, and threw the most punches. And no, not really at all.
It was exciting because we'd get there, we were bundled up, we could watch him play, watch his friends play, and it was just actually exciting. I mean, there was one weekend he had a basketball game here in Charlotte. We drove right after the game to Raleigh to a hockey game, and that afternoon he was in a different town playing soccer, and then we had to turn right around and go back to Fayetteville to play hockey again, and they were early morning, like 6, 7 a.m. games. So it was a constant flow for him, and he would get in the car fast asleep, and he was raring to go for the next game. He's got the energy.
Life prior to my accident was just pretty normal, I would say. I definitely was always into something, you know, whether I was traveling or finding odd jobs to do work. I went to undergrad and then grad back to back, but grad in Florida, and seeing if I found something that I liked along the way.
Behind me, the Iredell County Sheriff's Office is here, along with North Carolina Animal Wildlife. They will be taking over the investigation, and right now they're talking with neighbors, trying to figure out more about what happened. But tonight we do know that man is alert and aware. He was pulled out of the water. Again, that rescue happened down on Lake Norman. It's back there in the darkness past the trees and the cars. So that is where the rescue happened. That man was pulled onto the dock, and again, since has been taken to the
My husband got the phone call, and it was the deputy sheriff from the lake calls to say our son was being airlifted to the hospital. He had been in a boating accident, and that's all we knew. And so my husband left at that moment to go up to the lake, and I stayed back here in Charlotte because we thought if he's being airlifted, surely he's coming to Charlotte from Lake Norman. And I called the person back, and they still didn't know, and I called hospitals up there, and I finally called here at CMC, and they said, yes, he's on his way. And I said, okay, I am too. It was a very surreal time because I wasn't sure what I was gonna see. I didn't know anything. And he was laying on the gurney and lifted his head and goes, Mom, I'm gonna be fine. I am good. And I walked up to his, everything was covered in a sheet, and I walked up to him and I said, yes, you are, because you're talking to me.
After the accident, initial goal is walk. You know, at that point I was in a wheelchair, and you know, people were treating me normally because that's how we were gonna do it. I'd spend time at the doctor's, and again, I had family there, friends, people there all the time just helping. So it was pretty easy for me because I had so much support that it was like you can't really look anywhere but forward. And you know, each day that you push yourself a little bit more, it just gets easier and easier. You just need to chill out. Aren't you excited? What, are you gonna go chase the pucks? Are you gonna chase the pucks? Are you excited? Are you excited? Me and my brother and sister probably last laced up the skates 2 years ago. We always go kind of around Christmas break. Whenever we were home or had off, sit. I know you're excited, stay. But I didn't get a chance to go last year because I was still learning to walk. And so we're getting after it. It's gonna be awesome. I don't know who's more excited, me or Calder. I'm better at controlling my excitement. Come on, let's go. Whew. All right, here we go, Calder. Oh, look at you. It almost got me. My surgeon, one of the first prescriptions he wrote me was a service dog. My parents approached me about it, and I was like, I do not want a dog. I love dogs. I grew up with dogs, and I'm starting a business, gotta learn to walk again. And then my old hockey coach's wife, when I used to play for the Charlotte Junior Checkers, called me one day and she's like, hey, there's this organization called Project to Heal, and the Charlotte Checkers are working with them, and they're gonna donate a dog to someone, and I think you should look into that.
We all have down days, and it would hit him every now and then. I just knew in my heart that it would. We're all human, that happens. So I thought he's got to have that pal with him to be able to just give him that lift that he needs when family and friends aren't necessarily around. So I just kept pursuing it with him.
And she was like, well, it's a really great story because you used to play for the Charlotte Junior Checkers, and then you had to get a leg amputation, and Calder got his toe amputated a month before. And so I was like, all right, we'll go check out the dog. I wheeled in there, and the first dog that runs up to me was Calder, and he had a Heineken Chewy toy in his mouth. And I was like, oh boy, this is not good.
You know, young man, young dog, a lot of energy. Carson's got a lot of energy, and he intends to take Calder with him wherever he goes, which is what a service dog can do. And he can help him with different things like getting up, bringing him his prosthetic, getting stuff, you know, even like out of the refrigerator for him, you know, stuff like that. Everything we see or hear when they're together, it just works. It's just a great pair.
I really am just so happy for Carson and for Calder that it worked out, and now for the Checkers too, and Project to Heal, that all of it's perfect synergy with all those factors coming together, all those great groups, all those great people coming together and making this happen for somebody that's really, really special to me and to my family.
It's going to be really tough to see Calder leave and do good things, but we know he'll be awesome. He's going to do so much better than he would ever do here. He's going to have a great partnership with Carson, but we'll definitely be able to see him at Checkers games. You know, we'll go visit him as much as we can, and so we're very excited. It's going to be tough, but it'll be bittersweet. We'll miss him, but it'll be great.
I am thrilled that those two came together. I mean, it was just in the craziest roundabout way, but it is the most, you know, they both have amputations, and Carson chuckles when he talks about it, but it is kind of cute. And when we were walking on the beach, I think one of the more beautiful footprints is to see Calder's footprint in the sand, and to see that little something that's missing, but you know, that's all that's missing.
Life going forward, it's always going to be interesting. You know, there will probably be a lot more downs and things like that, but if you just if you can get shoved down and then get back up, that's an adrenaline rush. And I can't really be negative about many things. I got an awesome life because of everyone around me, and having Calder now, plus other people I've met because of this new adventure I'm on. Definitely excited for that day where he's officially mine. I can't keep saying his name because he gets all excited. And can't thank Project to Heal, the Checkers, you know, Emma, Charlie, the whole organization enough, because it'd be super tough not to have something like Calder to look forward to. You know, when Calder came into the picture, I wasn't really sure. It's like, how do I have a dog if I can't walk him or things like that? And then when it started to become more real, it kind of definitely pushed me to be, well, let's get to where I can run with him and fetch with him. So from that aspect of the mental side of knowing that I was gonna have this badass dog, you know, who was gonna be by my side at all times, that was a huge part of the service he provided me and continues to do. Because it is hard sometimes where people say, well, what does he do for you? I just watch you sprint you know, up and down, and that's tough for me because, you know, there are other things, but I can say that he has been there, you know, and able to help push me when nobody's watching, or, you know, get me to a point where I really get to utilize and get to know and experience him as just a dog-friend relationship. You know, there are times where I will use him, you know, my leg will be sore and I'll use him as even a crutch. Now I do it mainly to keep up with the training, but you know, he's able to brace his back and kind of let me hold on while, if my leg's not on, I can hop beside him. You know, we're working on him being able to fetch different items if my leg isn't on. But you know, I would say from a service standpoint, he learned a lot of things that if I was more wheelchair bound, that he would really be able to help with, turning on lights, fetching my leg, things like that. I just really try to push myself every day to make sure that he doesn't have to utilize that stuff. If there's anything he, you know, guides me in, it's helping show that life is simple. You know, it's little things that make us happy. You know, not get stressed over certain things, or when I think it's not time to go exercise and play, it's always a good time to exercise and go play. So from that aspect, you know, he helps serve myself as serve a lot of other people, and I keep him trained where if he's in his vest, he you know, he's in working mode, he can only pay attention to me, he can only listen to me, and I keep up with that training. But for the most part, I do keep him out of vest, so that he can do his job of supporting lots of people in whatever they may need. It's just where I started when I first, on day one, when I met him with no leg here, not sure about a leg over here, and a wheelchair, to where I am now. You know, it almost pushes me having him to make sure that I can stay up on two legs, because there's no one who is the better thrower for fetch than me. So I can't leave him hanging. We're waiting on Zach. Zach and the Checkers are gonna call us up. We'll be putting the line up soon. I haven't had a chance to access the ice. You know, I need to see about that. I do think that the scenario in the video where we got to go skate was super awesome, but Calder loves the ice so much that even if I could take him to a public skate somewhere, you know, I'd have to be careful with him going full speed and sliding and taking somebody out. I mean, everyone saw him almost take me out. Last thing I need is the service dog taking out 3 people on ice like a bowling ball. So we haven't been back since, but I think in the near future we will.
You heard him, Checkers. Let's try and get these two back on the ice soon. Hey, we're having a little trouble with our text to give, so for now, go to projecttoheal.org to make your donation. We're getting donations, so just keep them coming. We really appreciate it. David Muriello sent us $250. Karen Tenaro, $20. Roberts and Ryan Investments, $10,000. Connell Patrizio, $100. Kathy Garner, $65. Alan Burley, $250. Harold and Teresa Carlson, $2,000. Thank you very much. For all of you out there, come on, help us pump this up. These puppies, people need our puppies, and our puppies are ready and willing to go work. Did you know that a majority of service dog organizations in this company didn't have a breeding program? This is because the cost and esoteric knowledge necessary to breed and socialize puppies specifically to become service dogs, these organizations, until P2H began its work, had no choice but depend on shelter dogs for their program. Unfortunately, the research shows that on average, only 1 out of 8 or 12.5% of dogs taken from shelters are capable of withstanding the rigorous training to become a service dog. Project to Heal work allows these organizations to focus on training while we focus on breeding the great puppies from outstanding parents that have outstanding temperament, outstanding intelligence, and yes, just as important, the physical conformation that prevents these dogs from developing orthopedic issues that labs are typically known for, such as hip dysplasia or elbow dysplasia. Don't just take my word for it, how good our dogs are. Let's hear from Diane Bernier, Executive Director of Fidos for Freedom. Fidos for Freedom was one of our first service dog partners, and today we serve 25 other service dog partners clear across the United States. After Diane, you'll hear from veteran Ryan Kuehls, a retired Army captain, and his service dog, Griff, who was born and nurtured right here at Project to Heal. Good job.
So I'm Diane Bernier. I'm a client at Fidos for Freedom and the Executive Director. I've been with the organization since approximately '96 in different capacities. And I'm on my third hearing dog. This is Noah, and he is from Project to Heal. My passion to see what we do with these dogs and to give independence back to people who want to be on their own, and they can be, but they need help. And our dogs are able to help them, and they can lead full, independent lives, and it's just wonderful to see. I think the biggest impact I've really seen has been with our veterans, especially with our PTSD clients. Just to see these wonderful people come in for their initial interview and be so withdrawn and mumble and wouldn't speak because they were just, and then once they get their dog and you just see them grow out of their shell, they become independent. And I remember one veteran, after he'd had his dog, he took the subway down into DC to a baseball game, and he called me as soon as he got there. He goes, "This is the first time in over 10 years I've gone out by myself to do something." And he was crying, I was crying. It was just wonderful. Well, Noah starts his day off by waking me up to the alarm clock because I don't hear it. And then he's like running around telling me when the timers are going off, you know, the kitchen timer, if there's a door knock. Here at work, when somebody calls my name, I don't hear them. He gets me and takes me to that person. He lets me know when somebody's at our front door here at the facility. And he just alerts me to all the things I don't realize. And he now picks up stuff for me because I've injured my back. So he's able to continue to help me in other ways, which is great. I think the biggest thing is people think they can pet, or when we ask them not to pet, they think it's because they're vicious or something, and they're not. They're the gentlest things, otherwise they wouldn't be service dogs. But we need the dogs to focus on their partner to do their job, and part of the way the dog gets paid is through love and pets and all that, and if everybody did it, they wouldn't have, you know, they'd be going and helping everybody else and wouldn't be doing their job. That, and I think also the emotional support issue. People think emotional support dogs are service dogs, and they're not. They're a totally different entity, and, you know, where the service dogs have access rights and the emotional support doesn't, and that gets very confusing for people, and I just wish people could understand that more, the big difference.
My name's Ryan Kuehls. I'm a retired Army captain. I was in the Army from May of 2003 to May of 2007. in 2005 in February. I was deployed with my unit to Taji, Iraq, which is a base just outside of Baghdad. And in November of that same year, my patrol was struck by an improvised explosive device, which cut my truck in half and took the lives of the 2 soldiers that were in the truck with me. And as a result, my right arm and left leg were severed. I spent about 18 months after the attack at Walter Reed doing therapy and learning how to walk again, learning how to write again, and all the things that kind of took for granted. So Griff has been very helpful as a service dog for me. He's able to retrieve items that I drop. I have lost my right arm, and sometimes zippers can be pretty difficult, especially on jackets. And he's able to hold the bottom of the jacket for me while I zip it up. He's able to help me take my socks and shoes off, retrieve them when I'm putting them back on, just some of the daily things you wouldn't even think about a service dog would be beneficial for. Like I'll be helping out with the dishes in the kitchen, and a dish will drop on the ground or a cup will drop on the ground, and he'll be across the house and come running to grab it and pick it up for me. And to know that that is something that helps me keep my body as good as it's going to be for as long as it's going to be, is a real comfort knowing that he's there to help me with that stuff. Yeah, I think one of the benefits that Griff really brings me that you wouldn't necessarily see with my physical injuries, it's I think people sometimes assume that I can't do things or need some more help with stuff, which is the case with some things, but knowing that I am able to take care of Griff and I'm responsible for all of his needs, be it food or bathrooming or all that kind of thing, gives me some more confidence to know that I'm responsible for him and he's taking care of me, but that I can still do that and still be responsible for something else that really relies on me to take care of him, which is very much a confidence builder for me, being someone that was a little bit banged up.
Can I start buying a gift?
Well, thank you, Diane and Ryan. We're getting donations, so keep them coming in. We just got $300 from our old friend Pat Kay. We got a $50 donation from Denise Konigsfield. We got $100 from Elaine Vreeland. Jeff Schweikert, $200. Donna Gardner, $150. Amelia Abbott, $100. David Hurwitz, $100. And Shay and James Reeb Snyder, $100. What's great about this is that I see some of our regular donors, and we're getting new names. Thank you very much. Last shot you saw was Jessica with Gus, and now we've got Minnie. Let's see if Minnie sits as quiet as Gus did. Okay, so you know that Project to Heal reduces the time and cost it takes to place a service dog with a person in need. We accomplish this by combining the best Labrador Retriever pedigrees. Then we nurture, socialize, and train these puppies with a purpose. We determine which puppies are the best service dog candidates, and then they're donated to one of our 26 service dog organizations across the country. We also keep some of these pups, of course, because we need them for our breeding program. And we couldn't do any of that without you, our donors. If you haven't donated, please text P2H, it seems to be working now, to the number on your screen. And don't forget to visit our website for the Name the Puppy auction. It takes a village to raise these puppies with a purpose. We couldn't do it without the staff and the help of our trainers. The two things that tell you what a puppy is going to be as an adult dog are its pedigree, meaning its lineage going back to its parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, and also the nurturing, socialization it goes on, during its sensitive or critical period. The puppy's sensitive or critical period is, in my opinion, from the day it's born to the time it's 12 weeks old. So if you think about that, when you try to use a dog from a shelter, you don't really know anything about the parents. Now we can do genetic tests to figure out what the breeds mixed together are, but the parenting and the lineage accounts for only 1/3 of what a puppy will become. 2/3 of what a puppy will become as an adult is that nurturing, training, and socialization that it undergoes during that 12-week period. And so we start here at 2 days of age with the early neurological stimulation tactics that were introduced by Marco Battaglia for the United States Superdog program. We try to kick in the puppy's nervous system because when a puppy is born, the neural pathways aren't formed. And so these exercises help to develop channels in the neural pathways. And so that's the first thing.
Hey guys, it's Claire here at Project to Heal. Today I'm going to talk about our puppy prodigy. So puppy prodigy starts at day 17, the day after ENS and ESI end, which is day 16 of their lives. So puppy prodigy goes on from day 17 until day 32. So puppy prodigy, we're basically just introducing new tasks and items that we use for training techniques, as well as like cues and such, now rather than later, so that they make the association with the clicker and everything and these other items, so that when we use them in training for, like, if they're going to be a service dog or whatever, that they know what that means. Like, oh, I've seen this before. What that looks like is we take a cup of goat's milk and we soak like a makeup sponge into it. We just start having them follow the makeup sponge. So the makeup sponge smells like milk, like the mama has and everything, and they're gonna want to follow it. So as long as they like literally just take their head towards it or take a step towards it, that's perfect. So then you get into a couple more days, you introduce the sit, you introduce here, so that's when you start using their names. So like Mr. Mosby here, for instance, it would be Mosby here. We'd click and then we'd give him the makeup sponge full of goat's milk and he'd suck on it for a little bit. What are you doing? So we also incorporate things like tunnel, and it's just where we use like a plastic little tunnel and we just have them follow the goat's milk through it. We also do sit and down at a very young age, and these guys do it. They're rock stars. We also do tug. That in turn would lead to pups being able to tug on a rope to open a door, open a refrigerator, all kinds of stuff. We also do touch at a very young age, and that's literally like 2 fingers like this. We touch their nose like that, and we click and we give them a treat. Isn't that right? Yeah, you like that, don't you? We also incorporate crate. So we have a very small crate that we use, and we lure them with the goat's milk into there, and then we let them sit in there for a few seconds, and we bring them back out. That's kind of one of the last days of prodigy with them. And once prodigy ends, we just go right on into the basic training. So when you get into basic training, everything that we did in prodigy helped. So like sit and down and even recall for them, which would be Mosby here, for instance, it is a lot better than just starting fresh. So these guys know a good bit going into basic training. That's the purpose of Puppy Prodigy.
We're now on our 5th generation of dogs here at Project to Heal, but our dogs come from a breeder who has been at top of the game for 40 years. It's one thing to be at the top of the breeding game for 5 years or 10 years, but every decade since the 1970s, our mentor, Sally Bell, has been at the top of the game. Just as a side note, the industry average, and it makes sense, would be around 50% success. Now this includes dogs that are bred specifically for service work, and those that have to use the shelter dogs are going to bring it down, of course, but they have no other choice, right? Which is why we're in existence, to be the breeding program for as many nonprofit service dog organizations that do not have
a breeding program.
I have been at Project to Heal for 9 years. I originally signed up as a volunteer and progressed from there and started training to be a trainer with the trainers that we had working at the time, and just coming out, well, also volunteering at the same time as learning how to train, but just coming out and enjoying all the dogs in the fields every day and playing with them and loving on them and just having a great time on those days. My role at Project to Heal now is the administrative assistant / puppy development manager, and I work with all the puppies from birth. I help with the birthing of the puppies if need be, and I work with them and make sure that everyone is taking care of the puppies and doing the tasks that need to be done on a daily basis for the babies until they leave us at 8 weeks of age. Some of the tasks that we do with the pups are ENS, ESI, and Puppy Prodigy, and then after Puppy Prodigy, they're about 8 weeks old, and they go into regular obedience training.
So ENS and ESI, they stand for Early Neurological Stimulation and Early Scent Introduction. So this always starts on day 3 of the puppy's lives. It's basically just you hold them in certain positions and you're just getting them used to different motions and just how it feels, like their equilibrium, as well as like stimulation in their paw pads, even touching like a cool surface. We use a Q-tip and we tickle it between their paw pads, and then we put them in a cold dish that usually stays in our freezer, and then we pull it out when it's time for ENS. ENS and ESI lasts for 16 days. So those 16 days, we do ENS, then we move on to ESI, the early scent introduction. Like today, day 1, we're doing cow. So we hold this up to their nose. They can have a positive reaction, negative reaction, and neutral reaction. So a positive reaction would be like you see and hear them sniff. Sometimes they'll lick it. Sometimes they'll open their mouths at it. Sometimes they'll move towards it more, or even they'll try and eat it sometimes. It's funny when they do that. A neutral response is they just kind of like sit there, no change. Negative responses, they literally move their head away. They just don't want anything to do with it. It's exposing them to all kinds of different smells at a very young age. Because I mean, there's only so much that they can smell in this area. So I mean, within a few minutes or so, they could smell everything in this room pretty much. Yeah, because dogs know, even at this early age, like their nose is really good, their sense of smell. So introducing them to those types of smells, like whenever they go out into the outside world, not that I'm in the mind of a dog, but they'd be like, oh, I've smelled that before. I was 3 days old. No, I can't. But still, so like if you introduce them, I guess in a sense, like Biscuit, if I introduced her to my horse, she would smell it, but she would put 2 and 2 together like, oh, the smell looks like this. I've smelled that before, so maybe I won't be as scared of it, So there's certain benefits to the early scent introduction.
From old school to new school on training, it's totally different from years ago, the way people used to train their dogs, and to what we do now. That's amazing to me in itself. Being able to transition over from being a volunteer to an employee, that Charlie and Sandy gave me the opportunity to do so, and that they had, the confidence in me that I would do the job that they're asking me to do. Just being able to, as Charlie always says, be able to birth more dogs, more puppies, so we have that many more to donate to our organizations, and with the expansion, hopefully expanding out to the new property to help us with that part of our mission.
My favorite thing here at Project to Heal about being a trainer is, I guess I would say, our mission, like getting to see what the dogs do for people. I've had experience in the past working with people with special needs, and when I could see the difference that I was making in their lives, it made me happy. Like, that was my happiness. So knowing that these puppies that I'm helping raise and train are making a difference in the world, that's great. I mean, I'd love to be a part of that, and that makes me feel like I'm a good person. So, I mean, I hope I'm a good person, but. We're not just puppy breeders. We take care of our puppies, and we train them literally on day 3. So like these puppies have a lot of hands-on experience since almost day 1. I mean, really and truly, we're handling them on day 1. We're doing all kinds of stuff, which in the long run, I believe really, really helps enrich these puppies to be the best that they can be, especially with the human bond that they form later on. Our puppies are fantastic. So one of the things that I thought was kind of cool was my brother goes to Lee Park Prep, and he was on the cross-country team. They were in Concord, and he was at his regular meet, you know, and my mom's sitting there watching, and she looks over and she sees this gorgeous yellow lab. Come to find out, she was actually one of our Project Heal dogs. His name is Bruce. And my mom texted me immediately, sent me a picture of him and all that. He's a gorgeous dog, and she said that he has been a working dog at this school for 6 or 7 years. So I asked Mr. Charlie about it, and he kind of filled me in on his story and everything. But that brought such happiness to me that, you know, you're gonna see these dogs eventually. Like, you know, we're getting out there with these dogs, and they're doing great things in the world. They are healing the world. They're doing all kinds of stuff. And one of these days, we're gonna go to all kinds of dog parks and parks in general. We're gonna see Project Heal dogs everywhere. Hopefully, that's the goal. So we're gonna see these guys doing their job and helping people and giving them better lives and all kinds of stuff. I don't know, I'm elaborating.
Thank you, Claire and Terry. We'll hear more about that future site that we hope will become our future home later in the show. Thank you, Ty in Las Vegas, for your $150 donation. Thank you, Cheryl, for tuning in last year and, as you said, making us your favorite charity and your very generous $400 donation. I want to thank all people also for these generous donations. G. Hallmark, $500. Ty Yalzada, $150. John Baste, $100. Kristen Hackett, $50. Cheryl Jordan, $400. Sarah and Gary McAvoy, $1,000. Eddie Perez, $50. Dave Sanborn, $250. And someone I know, Melissa Patrizzo, $25. Now, Sarah has bid on one of those puppies, and for those of you who haven't looked at the bids, I want you to turn to Jessica and see this sweet little puppy here, who is one of the pups. He's 18 days old, and he needs a name. So join us in the puppy name auction, and you'll be able to name this beautiful puppy. Training is an essential part of what we do here at Project to Heal, and we love our trainers. To see more trainer interviews, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. We're launching a ton of new content, stuff like how to crate train, how to heal, how to find a place, and more. In addition to your donations, we also ask for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and share our channel with both family and friends. Speaking of content, check out these training videos from Stella and Kian.
Hey guys, it's Kian. Today we're going to be working with Peaches, who is now pretty comfortable on the leash. So once you have a dog that's comfortable on the leash, I like to move on to teaching them heel and get them to walk really nicely on the leash for you. All right, so for me, when I teach heel, I kind of start off by walking in very, very small circles, going counterclockwise so they can stay on your left side. The purpose of going in the circles is it kind of teaches the dog that they're not supposed to jut out in front of you when you're walking, because your knee will kind of act as like a natural barrier Sometimes the dog may walk into your knee, but that's all right. And then when, when your dog's walking beside you and you stop moving and they stop walking, they should automatically go into a sit. So it's kind of about tying all that together and having them sit automatically when you stop walking, as easy as just telling them to sit and then naming the whole behavior of heel, and they should tie 2 and 2 together. So the last thing that's important when you're teaching a heel is you need to have a treat, and when you teach it, and I walk in my counterclockwise circles, I always take a treat and I put it right up here at my left shoulder. So I'll put it down in front of the dog's face and put it up here so they're looking up at my face and making eye contact with me. They should be making eye contact with you when they're in a heel, because you're leading them, they're not leading you. So I'm gonna get Peach's attention. Peaches. And then I'm gonna name the behavior as soon as we start. So I'm gonna go Peach's heel, hold the treat right here. So she's gonna look at me, and I'm just gonna do really small circles, sit, and then she's gonna sit, yes. I'm gonna give her the treat. So once you've done the really small counterclockwise circles, it's nice to kind of start breaking them out into straighter lines as well, because I mean, that's really how you will be walking. So get them up, Peach's heel. Make sure the treat's up here, so they're making eye contact with you. You're gonna walk out, turn. She should stay even with your knee. And then I stop, sit, yes. That way it's more of a straight line or a curved line and less just circular motion. So they have the choice to either branch out or just stick with you. And that's gonna help you know when they're really ready to move on to just straight lines.
B? Do you want to film today or not? This is not what we're doing. Hi guys, Stella here again at Project to Heal. This is B, and we went over place before, so we're going over it again, but we're gonna add the 3 Ds, duration, distance, and distraction. We moved her outside so she could have a little distraction. That's one of the last things you wanna add. But distance and duration are the next 2 Ds that you want to work on. So first what you want to do is, since you've added distraction, and you see she's a little wild right now, so we've added distraction and we want to put it in real time. B, place. So we're going back to the original thing that we've done inside. Okay, place, yes. Okay, place, yes. Okay, so when she has that, then we're gonna move on and try to do duration or distance. It's up to you how you want to do it. You can do duration first, you can do distance. If you've already worked on stay or wait is what I use, then you start with that first if you think they have a good base point to start at. You're messing this up. Let's see. So then you'd start a little bit farther away, giving her a little distance and duration at the same time. I keep the leash on her at first, just in case I have to correct her. If she jumps off, I can pull her back on. And yes, good girl, good girl. So this, I will release her and then we'll do it again. Okay? Yes, good girl, good girl. Place, sit, down, good. No, down, good girl. Yes. Now wait. B, look at me. Look at me. Good girl, wait. Yes, good girl. All right, so once you get good enough to do that with the leash, you can do it without the leash. Place. Good, sit. Yes, good girl. B, down. Good girl. Ah. Yes, good girl. And you're gonna have to practice. This isn't gonna be all in one session. B's still young when it comes to place, so she's gotta be corrected sometimes too. Okay? Place, sit, down, wait. So I only do a little bit at a time with her because she's so new to it. Eventually it'll be to the point where I can do it from far away. So now she's moving, so I'll correct her. Ah, ah! And then she'll get back down and get back into her place. If not, then you might have to take a step backwards and put the lead back on her and let her know that that's not okay to do. That's why I say you don't want to do it all in one session, because they have to learn what's right and what's wrong.
Thank you, guys. Again, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get the latest training tips, and to be sure to check our take on Hell's Kitchen or Stell's Kitchen. If you haven't made your donation, there's still time. Text the number on your screen to donate now. You can also go to our new and improved website. And while you're on our website, don't forget to bid on a chance to name a P2H puppy. This could be an opportunity to honor or memorialize your loved one or a favorite member or veteran. Become a healing partner by making a monthly donation. Provide a healing paw with your monthly donation and help heal those with physical and emotional challenges, one puppy at a time. Again, $5 a month provides an entire vet visit for a whole litter, or $60 a year. $10 a month, or $120, pays the cost for an entire cost of feeding a litter. It feeds pups from birth until they're donated to a partner service dog organization. We're almost out of time, but a couple more things before we go. First, I want to personally thank our newest member of the P2H family, Andre, my soon-to-be son-in-law. He's done an awesome job putting these great videos together and is the reason we can bring this information to you on YouTube. Let's help Andre by getting as many subscribers as we can. Project to Heal is a family, and each of us are a part of your family too. We could not do what we do without your donations. First, I want to give another shout out to our presenting sponsor, Stonemont Financial. They have been our stellar supporter for 5 years now. Okay, I want to also, during this last break, we also got some other donations. Joanne Somerville donated $100. Kurt and Angela Haller donated $500. Go Sabres. And Sarah Tallman donated $33.33. We want to thank all of you. And so we have a little bit of time here. So I want to talk about something that makes our dogs what they are, how they stand out. A puppy is the result of two things, nature and nurture. Nature, of course, is genetics. Who's the father and who's the mother? Nurture is what have we done with this puppy during the sensitive phase or crucial phase of its life. That takes place from the time that puppy's born to 12 weeks of age. That represents 2/3, that experience, if you will, in those first weeks represents, you know, the nurturing. We socialize, we train, we take them out to see different things. In the end, 2/3 of what that puppy becomes is a result of what we've done with it from birth to 12 weeks of age. The other side of that is nature, genetics. And so the way you go about genetics is I have to analyze a lot of pedigrees. I know the names of some very big breeders that have had great dogs for generations, and I try to match a mother with a dog that complements her. Sometimes it may mean size. Perhaps we have an organization that needs bigger dogs because they do a lot for veterans that have mobility issues. Those organizations typically want big, strong male dogs. Other organizations prefer the female, smaller dogs because they're not doing any weight-bearing things for their client. And, you know, if we can feed a 60-pound dog to get it to do the service it needs to be done, it's a lot cheaper for that person in need to feed that dog than a male that's 85 to 90 pounds. And so we do what's called, this is technical terms now, but talk to your friends at the water cooler tomorrow about this and they'll know you've been listening to me. So for example, a line breed. A line breed is when you bring one particular dog back into the pedigree on the top and the bottom. Typically, it's a grandfather or a great-grandfather. And there's something in that one dog on both pedigrees that me or someone else as the breeder really wants to capitalize on. It could be something physical, like well-sloped shoulders, and the well-sloped shoulders reduce the concussion when the dog's walking, and therefore less likely to develop a hip or elbow dysplasia. It could be something like, let me think about this, like a coat, a hair coat. And people say, well, what's important about hair coat? Well, when we breed Labrador Retrievers, we want to breed to the specifications of the breed. You might not think it's important, but we want to make sure that our dogs are truly representing that breed, the Labrador Retriever. All right. We want to thank all of you, and before I go, just want to say we just got another generous donation from Dr. Presley and the Presley family of $1,000. If you haven't made your donation yet, there's still time. Remember that future site Terry was talking about? Check this out. When we come back, we'll announce the winners of the Name the Puppy auction, so get your final bids in now. Hello, and thanks for joining our Pup-a-Thon. I'm really glad you can be here to be the first to see a property that Sandy and I bought, 7 years ago now, with the dream and hope that we could make it something really nice for children with special needs and their parents, and our military people who need a peaceful and quiet place to come. This is a 54-acre piece of property, and we have some really, really great ideas to allow those two beneficiary groups of our work to get some peace and quiet and to really enjoy our dogs and our puppies at the same time. So why don't we take a walk up the driveway? This is the driveway, one of the main entrances. It has 3 entrances. This is the main one right off a major road. But come on up the driveway with me and I'll show you some more stuff. Okay, so we've just made the walk up the driveway, and we're now standing in front of a cabin that was on the property when we purchased it. It was refinished, the bathroom was redone, the floors were redone back about 5 years ago. And this will be the first building to be used for people who just want to come and watch football, or on a Saturday or Sunday after they're done playing with their dog. We have dog crates, we'll have kennels. So just a place to come and hang out on a Sunday if you want, or a Saturday, play with your dog, and then maybe college football, or just truck on back home. But the bigger goal is to have more of a larger social gathering room with a fireplace and a small kitchen and all that stuff, so that members can really enjoy this place. And remember, when you become a member, you're helping a veteran or a child with a special need get a service dog. So let's take a walk this way. So behind us is kind of the jewel of the property, at least when Sandy and I came here to look at it. This is an 1.5 acre pond. It's a stocked pond. Labradors love water, and people enjoy fishing. And so I thought this could have a dual purpose for members. Yes, you can come and bring your dog here and have fun in the pond, or if you're a fisherman, you can fish. Maybe we'll have a few paddle boats for parents and kids to have some fun on the pond. And obviously there'll be different times of the day for fishing and dog use of the pond, because fishermen don't want dogs jumping in the pond while they're trying to catch bass. But this is, in my opinion, this was the centerpiece of the property, and quite frankly, of the 54 acres, it's really right in the middle of the property. So come on, let's take a walk up the hill here and show you what else we have planned. Okay, so what you're seeing here is a 40 by 60 concrete pad that we used to kennel dogs in, but the kennels we'll use going forward will be indoor. But this patio here is a perfect place for a dock diving pool. Dock diving is the fastest growing canine event, and so it makes sense to have the dock here on the property for events, and events here could raise more revenue for Project to Heal. That's what the dock diving pool is, about 20 feet wide by 40 feet long, and then the goal is to have a roof over this, so that if it's raining, we can still compete. Not that the dogs are going to mind, but the humans might. and put up some aluminum stands that you'll see like at a Little League or a high school football game so that people can enjoy the event from the stand. So if you come this way with me, I'll show you one more place. We've covered a very small piece, but we've covered the pieces where the activity is going to happen. So if you come with me this way and right around the corner here, okay, so now we've come up past the kennels and you can see what is a big piece of earth that was just cleared and seeded. Couple thoughts here, a number of fenced-in play fields for people who want to work individually with their dog or just exercise their dog. We're also going to have an agility course, a professional agility course here. I think in the long term, that agility course will be under a roof with sand footing. But in the beginning, until we're able to get that building up, we can do some agility work out here. The bottom line is that the first thing I'd love to get up, or we need to get up, is a steel building. And while I don't have any estimates of what that will cost, I've been doing a little preparation, and this is going to be a big expense. And I ask that for the sake of our veterans and the sake of the children with special needs, that you really open up your heart tonight so that we can help them. Sandy and I, as I said, bought this property for this very reason 7 years ago. And I want this to stand here forever, even when Sandy and I are gone, to go on and serve our veterans and children with special needs, as well as adults with disabilities that need a service dog. So I ask you to be as generous as possible tonight. Thank you. Hey, Kayla's getting a lot done.
Yeah, I have gloves on. I'm oh my gosh, you're right.
All we need is a big ball. We're expanding. We took these kennels from our other property up in Lancaster. We have bred 5 girls over the past 4 weeks, and hopefully, with the grace of God, all of those girls have puppies. But those puppies have to come out at 6 weeks of age. They just can't be left in as a litter anymore because the mess is more than, you know, we really can handle in there. So some dogs naturally bark at the kennel mate, but these kennels here, the sides are, as you can see, the walls are solid. So the dogs won't learn to bark as they do down in our other kennel. Well, that was a lot easier. New screw or new nut? Both. Okay. So let's put the other one back aside as damaged.
So last time we did 4 instead of 330-ish. Lord.
Well, it's working, ain't it?
This is what I have to deal with. This is why it takes us so long.
Never mind.
Thank you. Thank you.
Line her up. You know what kind of music we need? You don't need that old funny music.
We're getting there.
All right. Last segment, I mentioned Dr. Presley had made a generous donation to us. Many of the people that are watching this show are from this local area, and we've been in this business. Sandy and I have been doing this for 15 years, and in 15 years we have never ever had, and we love our former veterinarians, but we've never had a veterinarian like Dr. Presley. We've called that man on Thanksgiving Day. He'll get up out of bed and do C-sections for us. If you live in this area, then you should be considering Presley Animal Hospital, but also Presley Placation Station, which is Dr. Presley's boarding facility, overseen by him. And you'll know your dog is in good hands there for real. Thank you very much, Dr. Presley. You mean the world to us. Okay, so now, here we got some names. Vince and Bridget Budd just donated $1,000. Thank you. Judy and Bob Wykowski, $512. And Chuck and Lisa Curtis donated $2,000. We're trying to get that chart to go up, and we need your help, please. Whatever you can do, if you want to be a monthly donor, then join our Healing Partners Club and help us to heal those with physical and emotional challenges, one puppy at a time. Again, $5 a month or $60 a year provides an entire litter veterinary exam. $10,000 a month or $120 for the year pays the entire cost of feeding a litter. And we just break in for a second here. Our friends Rick and Nancy Duty from Michigan just donated $500. Thanks, Rick and Nancy. And a donation of $25 provides heartworm, flea, and tick prevention for a whole year for a girl in a breeding program. Our friends Bill and Maureen Shriver just donated $500. Thank you, thank you. All right, so remember, we can use any amount, large or small. The bottom line is that any donation helps us. If you can't afford to donate, we understand that at this time. I challenge you to help in other ways. Please volunteer, become a chaperone owner, or maybe you can even come and share our videos with friends on YouTube.
So originally I went to school at UNCC, and it was right in the middle of COVID. I did a semester in person. It wasn't really in person because they didn't have any in-person classes, so it was just kind of being locked in your dorm, online classes. And I've never really been a big school person. So in tandem with that, I came back from winter break, and I worked at a restaurant, and I was part of a workplace incident which left me burned and bedbound for about 3 months, which of course that's not going to help with school whatsoever. So I made the decision, college is always there if I want to go. It's just not something I'm looking to do right now. So I dropped out, but I withdrew my classes. I was going to be at home and doing nothing, and we had friends who volunteered here. So originally I had signed up to volunteer, but I was also in the process of looking for a job. And I was looking for a job, and I saw an application on Indeed, and I said, you know what? Working with dogs, that sounds awesome. Let me apply, and I got a call, I had an interview, and I got the job. Number one is probably just the obvious answer is just I get to come in here and work with puppies, dogs all day, get to train them, help people that are in need, whether it's veterans with PTSD or kids with special needs. I got a dog through Project to Heal, through our chaperone program. Her name's Abby. She makes me happy every day. It's nice to wake up to a dog that's solely mine and my responsibility. It's nice to have a responsibility and another companion around. And then just getting to work with all these nice people. We really mesh really well. We banter a lot, but we all get along pretty well, and it's nice to come into a bunch of smiling faces in the morning. I'd just say about, dog anatomy and dog psychology in general, especially with the labs, they're so different to a lot of dogs. Whether it's, they're really good at swimming because they got the webbed feet and the outer tail, or they're really good at retrieving because, that's what they were bred to do, or how dogs give birth, or, what certain type of training methods work for one dog and not for the other. And it's a lot of trial and error when it comes to training, so that's also something I like to do. It's kind of like problem solving almost, but just figuring out what works best for a dog. Labs are very food motivated. You have your oddball who won't work for food, and then that's a big problem. Will they work for physical affection? Will they work for play? Will they work for toys? Will they work for virtually nothing and just, verbal reinforcement? But also it's like, you know, getting really high pitched and animated might work for one dog, whereas for another dog, you know, that might confuse them. So it's about really getting to know a dog and their personality and what will work best for them. For me personally, the beginning training of puppies, once they, you know, these guys get about 2 weeks older, and trying to teach them, you know, how to sit and, you know, how to just take food in general takes an abundance of patience, and sometimes I don't have that. So it really takes me time to be like, I'm here for these dogs and these dogs only. I need to do what's best for them and really allow myself to have that patience so they can excel in whatever area I'd like them to. There was this one time I was working with Stella, and we have another property which is currently getting fixed up. Trees are getting cut down, they're putting in trails. Charlie was over there mowing the lawn with his bush hog, and I get a text from him that said something along the lines of, please help, call me. So I called him, and he was like, hey, I need you and Stella to get over here as fast as you can. Come to find out, he was mowing with the bush hog, and the bush hog pulled him, not him, but the bush hog went into the pond. So he was there for about 30 minutes just sitting on the side of the pond holding on to the bush hog so that it wouldn't fall completely into the pond. And then another good one is when Charlie locked himself in his chicken coop, and he texted me in the morning and it said, please come help, lock in chicken coop, and I had to go let him out of his chicken coop. Those are probably my two biggest memories here that I got a good kick out of.
Chase him in the coop! Chase him in his coop! Chase him in the coop! Come on, man!
Alright, so we knew Charlie had to swap out some chickens with some guy Greg in town. He's bringing him some roosters and stuff, so he was down in the chicken coop while we're scrubbing the kennels down here, and I get this text from Charlie, and it, word for word, reads, lock in chicken coop, please come help. So he locked himself in. I had to go down there and let him out. It was quite the sight. It really was.
So Charlie is taking these chickens, and I think these got roosters in the other ones, and he's swapping them for better hens. We need red hens. I guess those eggs are better, and we feed the dogs eggs sometimes, so he needs better eggs. So that's what's happening today at Project to Heal.
We only keep egg-laying chickens. Those guys lay very small, bluish to green eggs. Here we got 2 roosters and a little rooster heading in the front, growing up. And then we have 2 what you call barnyard chickens, which, you know, when the girls skip Rudy and want to go lay on a nest, they do. Not even 3 months old. He's gigantic. I think he's going to be the size of an ape when he's done growing, but I'm not going to help. Say goodbye, guys.
You try and catch one and you feel like you ran a marathon afterwards. You have to like chase them everywhere. It's ridiculous. I've been pecked a couple times collecting eggs, so that's not fun.
That's the one that chases you.
Thank God. Your name.
Anybody want to come with me?
Okay, we're just over halfway there. Please keep those donations coming in. And over here is Jessica with our beautiful little black girl with the red collar, who is to be named by Maureen and Bill Schreiber. Actually, Josie is the Schreiber's chaperone dog. They became chaperone owners about 2 months ago, and before they knew it, Josie was in heat and she became a mother. All of our dogs have puppies 2 to 3 times. Any mother that doesn't act like a mother should, doesn't keep their puppies clean. Once they're bred once and they don't do that, they're out. But those who nurture their puppies will go on to have 3 or maybe 4 litters. When it comes to dogs, you want to have those litters as young as possible. Now, getting back to our little girl here, there's 2 puppies left in her litter that need names, okay? So check it out and go and take a bid to name a puppy. So you saw a funny video there about my chickens. That's my newest thing. I've had goats, alpacas, chickens, snakes, but the chickens have a purpose here. As you know, the dogs we breed, Labrador Retrievers, are bird dogs. And the purpose of the chickens is to allow us to walk into a situation with a dog that we're training to see how it reacts to that bird smell. Can we control a puppy around those birds, or does it go crazy? And the other thing is, of course, eggs have the highest biological value as a protein for dogs, and so each day for our mothers that are lactating and feeding their babies, they get 2 scrambled eggs every morning in with their food, and it's a great protein boost. Okay, keep those donations coming. We are now at $38,000. We're halfway through the show and we're halfway there. We really need some help. Call your friends, call anybody. Say, hey, look at what's going on here. We really want to hit that goal. Last year we did $100,000. I jacked it down this year because I know last year everybody was on a couch. It was COVID. I didn't know how many people would be out and about this time, you know, who's working on a Tuesday. So, let me talk a little bit about when Sandy and I started this organization. As a matter of fact, if any of you get Charlotte Magazine, there's a feature story on me this month in that magazine, and it talked about how I got started in this. I was an executive at a major bank here in town, and had moved my family down here about 3 years earlier. And after that, Sandy lost her dad, and I lost my mom, and I started to think about life in general, and what am I doing? Is there anything more I could do? And I've always loved dogs, and it's funny, Sandy was at the groomer who took care of our 2 little fluffy dogs, and the woman who grooms our dogs was a breeder of Labrador Retrievers. And I was kind of going through a period of depression, and Sandy went to pick up the dogs with my 2 daughters, who at the time were 5 and 6 years old, and the groomer said to my 2 daughters who were there with Sandy, would you like to see a puppy? And the puppy came out, and it was a chocolate Labrador Retriever. And Sandy came home that day, and she said to me, you got to see the cute puppy down at Leslie's place. And I said, well, we got 2 dogs. You don't want another dog. And she said, well, let's go look at it tomorrow and you can decide. And it didn't take long for me to fall in love with that puppy, and he became our first Labrador Retriever. And I guess from there, I started doing some research about what kind of things I could do with dogs. Not necessarily to make money, but to help people. And I came across an article on the internet which talked about service dogs, and a longitudinal study done that was conducted over, I believe, 10 years by an organization in Michigan called Paws with a Cause, and they're one of the best in the country. And they found over 10 years that it took, so in 10 years, 1 out of 8 dogs in a shelter, this is what they found as an average, was capable of passing the rigors of service dog training. The challenge for most of the organizations, as I told you earlier in the show, is that they don't have the capital to build what's needed for a breeding program. You have to get a whole bunch of knowledge and work with other trainers or other breeders to get to a point where you're confident about doing this on your own. But all of those organizations are outstanding training organizations. So what I said to Sandy was, I got an idea. Let's become the breeder for all of these organizations that don't have a breeding program. And this video says it all.
These dogs tremendously change lives for the better.
It has changed tremendously. Not only telling me my blood sugar is high and low, but just with, a best friend, basically. She, no matter what happens, she's always like right there with me, and I always know that I can count on her for anything that I need.
It's one thing we don't like to think about or talk about. I don't live in fear on a daily basis as much as I do anymore.
In the dictionary, the word unique says that something that there is no other like, and that's exactly what makes us unique. There's 1.5 million nonprofits in the United States. Project to Heal is the only single nonprofit dedicated to reducing the time and cost that it takes accredited service dog organizations to get the puppies or dogs into the hands of the people that need them, the wounded warriors and the children with special needs. Our primary work is producing what might be referred to as the prototypical puppy for service work. Sit. Good girl. Down. Last year we imprinted our first litter with the scent of a diabetic low sugar. So we took those puppies, and from the day they were born, we used distilled water and diffused the scent of low blood sugar on a cotton ball and spray it on the mother, and every day, 3 times a day, she would get sprayed, and the puppies would go to the mother and learn that smell meant eat.
When Samantha was diagnosed with diabetes, it was quite a shock. I didn't know a whole lot about diabetes. I felt my lows at that time, but as it got maybe 6 to 10 months in, I started to not feel them and dropped to 50s and 60s before I would even know. And I'd be jumping around, playing, and I would come in and be like, oh, gracious. So that's pretty much the reason for Miss Moo Moo, because she tells me when my blood sugar is low. Steve, kill me. Kill me.
I'm hearing that our dogs are alerting about 15 to 20 minutes before the glucometer does. Because of the dog, that child's pancreas isn't taking as much of a shock as it would if it had to wait 20 more minutes.
Moo Moo gotta know, Moo Moo gotta know. Good job, Moo Moo.
She provides emotional support for Samantha because the highs and lows are just hard.
Last year, 2014, we donated 26 dogs. Now, we're not a very old organization. We incorporated in 2010, but in 2014, we were still able to place and donate 26 dogs. And we'll be able to continue increasing that as long as we have the financial support that we need.
November of '04, I was in a little town called Mahmadiyah, Iraq. It's just south of Baghdad. So no sooner had I got up and got to the Humvee and got my weapon inverted, I heard a whistle come in off my left side, and I knew what it was, and I knew I wasn't coming home. What had happened is when the rocket hit, it skipped off the ground. Part of the warhead took off the back part of my right leg, where you can see my femur sciatic nerve. I took the shell casing in my right shoulder, took shrapnel in the left side, chipped a bone in my spine, still have shrapnel in my upper left arm, And then in the midst of getting spun around, it took off the back part of my left hand, took out 4 of my wrist bones, took out a metacarpal. Before I got Festus, I would need a chair, I would need my wife, I would need to have somebody there to get down on the floor.
One of our clients had a situation where he couldn't bend down and get up, so the dog was taught to brace. And so when he needs to get down, he tells the dog to brace, and he puts his weight on the dog, and he gets down, and he's able to get on the floor and play with his children. Same thing when he needs to get back up. He can brace on that dog and get up. The dog can take off his shoes. The dog can take off his socks. The dog can go in the dryer and pull out the laundry for him so that he can fold it.
He's given me an independence back that, you know, was never possible before. Last year was the first time I ever did a fireworks show, and even though we were, you know, a mile and a half away, you know, I was in the back of the van with earplugs. Festus laid the entire time across my chest, and so I didn't have to tell my little boy no, or my wife no, because of my fears of fireworks, and it's because of having Festus, who provided that security for me, and knowing that I was okay and I was going to be safe, that we're able to do something that we haven't been able to do in a family in 5 years.
What's happening is, as more organizations learn about the success of our puppies and our program, the more calls we get for our puppies. It's important that we have the help of our local community as well as our extended community, because our dogs are working across the country.
Project to Heal is my family, and you know, what they are doing not only in veterans' lives but in other people's lives is they're giving them that expiration date of, you know, their lifelong injuries.
Charlie's dogs change lives. The proof is in the results. We've had 4 of Charlie's dogs that have been of age to match, and they've been matched right away, and we've never seen that. Our executive director had said if Charlie Petrizzo from Project to Heal calls that he has a dog, we don't ask questions, we say yes, thank you, and we run down there to pick up one of Charlie's dogs, because they have been proven to be fabulous service dogs.
Please help us help others with these beautiful puppies who will one day become service dogs by going to www.project2heal.org and donating today. All right, these 2 hours went by really fast. We still need over $20,000 to reach our goal. If we don't get it in the next 15 minutes, remember, you can still donate at the Text to or at the Project to Heal website. In the meantime, let me thank Patty Barry for a $200 donation, as well as Allison Scardino for her $200 donation. Thanks for watching, and thanks for donating. There's still time. Remember, text P2H to the number on your screen, or visit projecttoheal.org. The winner of our Name the Puppy auction is Sarah and Gary McAvoy, and their puppy will be named Finnegan's Pal Billy, or Billy for short, named for Bill Schreiber. And Bill is one of our chaperone owners, along with his wife Maureen. Our other puppy name comes from Bill and Maureen Schreiber, and that name is Winnie. Keep the donations coming, even after the stream closes. Go to our website and you can still donate. Next up, Stella and our puppy party.
This is what we call our experience room, but we also have our experience box. This gets the puppies used to different sounds, motions. We also make different sounds with a snare drum. Also, we have a box with buttons in it that we make noise with, so they get used to the different, again, sounds. And they get startled, but then they learn that they can recover from being startled fairly quickly. Right now, these guys tend to spread out and go off the mat and try to explore the room. When they usually start their first puppy party, they'll probably be just in a pile asleep and not move or go anywhere. But now these guys are experiencing our room. They tend to, if you sit on the floor, or as Stella, she's sitting over there, they tend to migrate and settle with where the people are. Labs, even as puppies, are big-time people pups. And every day we add some extra props for the pups for them to get used to. We will have teeter-totters that they go over. We'll have a wobble board that they go on. Even in their kennel area, we have some different props in there, so they get used to having those in that room as well. They're coming back because they hear the noise and they see the motion. And we continue to do this until they all decide to conk out and take a nap. And that's when we know they're done.
About
15, 20 minutes, the tops. Yeah, at this point. Like the first couple of days, maybe 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes, because they tend to just sleep because they're not sure of anything that's around them. But now they're exploring and like to chew on pants already and shoes and toes. And they've got their teeth. So they're getting there. They're growing fast. They are 4 weeks today.
Dogs make me happier than people do, so I would say that's what drew me in. I enjoy dogs, period. Cuddling, just watching them, seeing their behaviors, learning about them. So I would say that's what drew me in. They're just happy and they make you happy. So. My favorite things about working with dogs and being a trainer is I'm learning something new every day. They're teaching me something as they're learning, so it helps me progress and it helps them progress at the same time. Not all dogs are the same. It's kind of like people. They have different personalities, so I enjoy learning that not all of them will learn the same way, and you have to start expanding your mind and you expand theirs at the same time. My favorite memories working here would be definitely the puppies. I love seeing them grow. When I first got here, they were, I want to say, a couple weeks old. And now I'm at the process where we have some that are already going to a couple weeks old, but I actually got to see them at a young age and, come in with their mother. So that was very exciting. I love and enjoy that because you come in and you see their faces every day and it's instant joy. My hope for the future of Project to Heal would be that we expand and that we're, reaching out to a lot more organizations, and a lot more organizations are reaching out to us for our puppies. We work hard when we do what we do here, and we want them to make someone's lives better. I have a lot of vets in my family, so I understand, PTSD is a big thing, and just helping. I know that everybody has dogs at home. It's that companionship that everybody needs. So I definitely think we're doing something good here, and I want to see it expand to another level. Seeing others that have our dogs and they're actually doing a good job for them, it brings joy and it makes you feel like you're doing something great, and that our dogs are doing something great. Like, we come to work every day, and it's not always easy, but we definitely know that we're looking at the bigger picture. So to see our dogs actually in action out there in the world, it definitely puts a smile on my face. What's most challenging about my job is, I would say, the training process, because some dogs are not all the same, like I was saying. Their personalities are different, so you have to find their niche. You have to find what's good for them. You have to find how you're going to keep their attention. Sometimes you can have it for 10 minutes, sometimes you can have it for 2. So I would definitely say that that's probably one of the challenging things here at work for me. You see some of the dogs, you know, they act a certain kind of way, and you feel like you came in and you made a difference, and now they're acting a different way as they're going through their training process. Like, that makes you feel good. I would say anytime that I talk to Charlie, you learn something new. He's definitely got a lot of knowledge when it comes to Labradors, and he has a lot of knowledge when it comes to breeding. So just getting him to open his mouth for 1 second, you can be there for an hour, but it's definitely, you're gonna learn something new. I guarantee it, and I enjoy hearing Charlie talk. You could feel the passion, which makes me passionate about what I do, so I love it.
All right, thanks to everyone. I want to thank Jessica, who's been our puppy model all night. I want to thank our trainers who you've seen in video. That means Kian, Stella, Claire. Thank our staff, Terry Sanborn, Kelly, who's here, and Sandy, my wife, of course. And so that you know, well, we've got something other than this show, which we hope may become an annual thing for maybe 8 years? No, 5 years now?
7.
7 years. For 7 years, we've been putting out our Project to Heal calendar, and here is our 2022 version, and Kelly's got the versions, and Kelly does all of this with her. It's a full Kelly job. All the photos, all the layout and design is all Kelly. And so you can see this year's, and the calendars are still available at our website. They're $20, right, Kelly? $20? Okay.
And all proceeds go to Project to Heal.
Right. 100% of the proceeds go to Project to Heal. And is there, if someone makes a large order, is there a reduction in price? Okay.
Just email Sandy.
Okay, just email Sandy, and you can get a price on a group sale if you want. Here's a cute one in April. I'm gonna go back one month and see where he is. Okay, March has always been dedicated to Bean. Bean is our special needs dog. He's 10 years old. He was born with myasthenia gravis and megaesophagus, and he was about 4 weeks old when Sandy and I took him to the vet, and the vet told us that it'd be better off if he was put down. However, he showed me when he was in that whelping box that he wanted to live. And so I knew what it was like to have challenges in life, and if anybody could raise this dog, Sandy and I could. And so Bean is now 10.5 years old, and he's still doing well. So he has his own book. He has his own book called Bean is Born. It's a great children's book which talks about how this puppy and his litter is different, but even though he's different, he's just as good as anybody else. So yeah, get online and order these calendars. They're a great stocking stuffer. Let's see if I can get you some more. That's September.
Eli's October.
Oh, Eli, let me show you. Many of you know Eli. He's our new dog upstairs. It's number 9 for us. What month is he in?
October.
October. He turned a year old, Eli, yesterday. There he is. It's my boy in his Mets garb. So you can order these again online. Thank you, Kelly. Kelly does all the work for that. Every year, she donates all of the proceeds straight to Project to Heal. If you have a question you might want answered, go on text and ask the question. And if it's a training question, I'll try to answer it for you in these next few minutes because we're about to close the show. If you have a question, just text it to Sandy, and We'll see what we can do to get it answered before the end of the show. But please keep the donations coming. Let us get these dogs into the lives of our veterans who need them. 22 of these veterans a day are taking their own life, and we know that these dogs save lives. It's not hearsay. It's not me telling you something that's not true. It's Purdue University doing a research study which came back and said that a service dog reduces hypervigilance, night tremors, and cortisol levels. All of those things, outbursts of anger, all of these things together lead a veteran to suicide. And with your help, we can get more of these dogs to those in need. Waiting just a minute here. Kelly's got a note here.
A question came in.
Okay, question. Why can't you pet service dogs? Good question. Service dog is a working dog, and when they're working from the beginning, they're supposed to pay attention to their person, if you will, the person that they care for. And if people are petting the dog, it learns, and actually what happens is it begins to look for affection while it's working. And if it starts seeking affection, and you think about the main breeds that are used as service dogs, Golden Retrievers and Labrador Retrievers, they eat that up. But they have to remember, and if you're petting them, they lose that connection there. So please, I found over the years, and I've been told over the years, that children are better at understanding not to pet a service dog than adults, who unfortunately sometimes just go up and pet the dog, even though the vet asks, do not pet. Okay, any other questions? All right. That's it for the night. Keep those. Oh, we got more questions. I got a couple minutes left here. I'll answer what I can. What's the best way to teach my dog not to jump at guests? Very good. So if a dog jumps, okay, if you touch him or push him off, you're giving him exactly what he wants, social contact. If you want to stop a dog from jumping, get yourself some treats, let the dog jump up and take a step back so his feet hit the floor. As soon as they hit the floor, reward him with a treat. Stand there and let him do it again. Step back. As soon as he hits the floor, treat. That's the best way. Remember, don't push him off or knee him. You don't need to do that. Just step back, have that treat, and tell him he's a good boy when all four are on the floor. All right? Okay, we're out of time, and we're almost out of time. We got one more question. Just got another donation from Jane Hartford, a longtime donor of ours. Thank you, Jane. And another question? Keep the donations coming. We're still getting them in right now, and you can do it all the way through tonight or into tomorrow. And right now, I'm going to sign off and thank everybody for being with us and for supporting our work this year. Thank you and good night.